Okay, so I think we were there about 6 weeks or seven before we moved over to Atlanta Place, right there off of 21st, where now they've got, what's his name, buildings and all that kind of stuff. I had to sue that guy also where we rented from because he tried to steal from us the deposit. Yep, another victim. Doctor Busquets. I was a victim. Yeah, we had to sue him. Took him to court. We won. We got our money. I tell you, it's incredible. There are more thieves in Tulsa than there are in other cities. Unbelievable. They all use their Christianity as, trust me, I'm a Christian. I lost more money in Tulsa. In the 7 years, I lost probably $250,000 plus in commissions, etc., that were ripped off by these supposed hypocritical Christians who use Christianity to get in your pocketbook, going to Victory Christian Center and other churches there and all that. Anyway, I learned. I don't go for those anymore. But anyway, let's keep going. So, after we were there about 7 weeks when we first got to Tulsa, and everything started out fine. Then I think it was going into like 2.5 weeks or 3 weeks. All of a sudden, man, wow, he changed. All of a sudden is, I don't want you working from the house. Well, my soul and I, your mother and I, we'd look at each other. What do we do? And she's going, you didn't do anything. I go, I didn't do anything either. I said, man, I've been working late at night, so I don't bother anybody, etc. If phone doesn't ring, I'm quiet, everything. And during the day, I stay out of the way of your father and mother. She says, I know. You haven't done anything. I said, I know. So what's up? We couldn't figure it out. I ended up being blessed though. Door opened up. Eric McCumber, I think was his name, and he was associated with the soccer teams in Jenks, and turned out to be a blessing. They gave us an office. They let us use their office, the soccer office, right there in the heart of Jenks, where I could come in after hours. I don't remember 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, and I worked until 2, 3, 4 in the morning, just like I was doing at Papon and Mina's house. But I had to drive all the way to Jenks and all that. It was hard, but anyway. And so I started doing that after 2.5 or 3 weeks, and then around the fifth or sixth week, your grandfather totally turned on us, on your mother and me. Is got to get you out of here. I don't want you here anymore. Ah, rah, you got to move. You got to move. We're going, and your mother and I, we're going. What the hell's going on here? What is going on? And your mother's saying to me, "What did you do?" I said, "Hey, listen, you know me. I stay away from him. Your father's never accepted me, man. I don't want to be anywhere near him. You know that I've avoided him like the plague." And your mother and I go, "Did you do something?" She goes, "No, no, I didn't do anything either. We couldn't figure it out. I figured it out today, and not today, but I mean afterwards. It's that the thing where by the condition to the house was that I could stay there. I mean that Marisol could stay there, but couldn't have sex with her husband. George, I hope you're listening to this. You couldn't handle the fact. You couldn't handle the fact that I was in the next room, possibly making love to my wife, your daughter, or however you saw her. You couldn't handle it. That's why. You want to know who told me that? If I remember correctly, Carmen Gill. A couple psychiatrists, ladies, men, they all said the same thing. You could not handle the fact that your daughter was having sex with a man. That fits. When you put the whole picture together, that fits. What a perversion. See, when you put everything together, this is what I have said. When you put everything together, number one, I stand on the fact that my wife at that time, it's not my wife today, was sexually molested as a child. Carmen Gill has said it. Frank Sullivan has said it. Pastor from Pierre Aguilar, Pastora Maria, Tom Dillingham, the associate pastors at I can't remember, Pastor Bob Yandian's church, other pastors at Victory Christian Center that I met with, even Juan Inga, who knows the story, and I can go on. Jesse from the Spanish church, remember Jesse, who knew the whole story. They all said the same thing. It points to two things. You know the whole story, it points to two things. Number one, Marisol was sexually molested as a child, or late, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And definitely. And number two, it points to you, to the grandfather. Carmen Gill was the first one to say that to me. Go ask her. Or is she going to continue in her defamations and so on? Is that what she's going to do? I don't know, maybe. Anyway. Okay, well, what a perversion. You can have the house, but you can't have sex with your husband. That's a condition. Wow. And now I see, when you put it all together, it's like a puzzle at the end. I could never understand why my wife was frigid. She couldn't be kissed. She didn't like holding hands. She didn't even like me holding her, putting an arm around me. Wow. Unbelievable. I'll tell you one thing. I believe I know one person that does know about this. That's Eileen. Marisol told me that Eileen, you can send her this video. Marisol told me this, that when Eileen was in her teens, she was scared to death of her father and she wanted to get out of the house, that she would have married a dog to get out of the house, to get away from Papon. That she was looking for a guy to take her away from Papon. That's interesting. I mean, I have a sister. I know plenty of people with family, and I've never heard that I can think of. That Eileen was in total rebellion. She would have married anybody that could get her out of the house, that take her away. And when Mr. Bassi came along and he offered to take her, was it Argentina, on the marriage? Man, she said yes before he asked, because he could get her away from the father. Wow. So George, if you're listening to this, Ricky, Gongi, Eileen, why, Eileen? Why don't you tell me? Why did you have to get away from your father? Why were you terrified of him? What was it? Eileen, I believe you know. I personally believe that there's a possibility that he went after you. That's a possibility. I'm going to tell you something, Eileen. If that's true, if that's what happened, then you know. You can go ahead and lie. You can say this, whatever. I don't know. I don't care. I wasn't there. But it's the only explanation that I can come up with. You would have married a dog that would take you off the island. And Jose Bassi wasn't the first one to ask you to marry. There was others, but they wouldn't get you away from your father. That's why you didn't marry them.